I'ma be right by you. I'ma be right by you.
All right, so welcome to episode 2 of Tech Talks. I'm Maraki Nick, and today I'm joined by none other than Mr. Olakunle from our Lagos office, and he is the General Manager for West Africa. Kunle, thank you very much for joining me. Great to have you.
Thank you for having me, Nick. Or do I call you Miraki?
How did I do on the pronunciation of your last name? I've had some gas from you before.
I think you're getting there, and it shows your aptitude for learning new things. So well done.
Thanks very much. So we've been in 6 weeks worth of lockdown. I think our message coming out of it yesterday wasn't that clear. I was wondering what it's like down in Lagos for you guys and the team, and also the family. How has it been?
I think the team has taken it quite well. We need to follow the protocols as defined by the government, and to ensure that we're keeping each other safe, and by extension also keeping the larger community safe. We've got a responsibility to the community to do the right things, to follow the protocols, and I think that's what the team largely has been doing. So we're working from home, since the lockdown. Although that's just now being relaxed a little bit in Lagos as at last week by the government. But still, the advisory is we keep indoors and we don't go out if we don't need to. Specific to Cisco, we've continued to work from home. We're used to working, from home because we're a technology company and we've got the tools to work from home. It's taking some bit of adjustment on the family side because in addition to that, we're adding new concepts or new things like homeschooling. So I've got 2 kids. And with my wife, we've shared the responsibility of, doing the homeschooling, in the last 4 weeks or thereabouts as well. So, that's a new dimension that we've had to cope with on my side.
I can most definitely relate to the homeschooling, although Ezra is only 3.5 years old. It's been it's been interruptive, shall we say. He's played a big role in our lives. But I think one thing we tend to forget is we tend to know that life is a bit upside down for us, but what we don't see is that the kids' lives have been turned upside down as well, and it's worth considering that as well. You talked about working from home. Some of the tools that you're using out in Lagos, how well have you been able to combine working from home and being able to manage countries effectively, especially on the scale that Cisco is present in Lagos?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So we had the first virtual launch by the federal government or the national government over here with with an agency called NITDA, Nigeria, the National IT Development Agency that falls under the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. And we had close to 90 people on the call with the minister, launching, some of the virtual learning opportunities that the agency had developed, working with some partners, including Cisco. So we've got networking academic content as part of the offerings that they are taking to the market or to Nigerians. So that was the first time even government, has jumped on this. And there are also discussions about, doing virtual, courts. So we have the Ministry of Justice and looking at doing virtual courts or doing, handling cases virtually. And we're also in discussions with different partners as well as the Ministry of Interior to look at possibility of managing that process also virtually. So again, I think this pandemic has brought on a lot of opportunities, not just in the traditional areas, because some of our customers as well are already used to our tools like WebEx, like this one that we're using, like this medium, we're leveraging to have this conversation. And they're also used to, tools like Umbrella, for their, security. They're used to also to, applications and software-led, tools like Duo, like this shirt I'm wearing as well. So it's it's the time for software, virtual, remote, and customers are warming up to that possibility. So again, we've largely transitioned seamlessly.
So a question I have is that we're going virtual. Internet connectivity across Nigeria can be sometimes a bit of an issue. From a technology point of view, especially on the edge, where do you see our products in terms of Cisco products playing a role within that arena? I mean, we've got the Meraki SD-WAN MXs. I've got one here next to me, the old sturdy MX100. But we're a company of collaborating and putting together portfolios of products that work together, especially like you said, Duo, WebEx Teams, Umbrella. All of these integrate seamlessly. But from your perspective, what do you see in the next 6 months to 12 months in terms of a shift from products that are on-prem traditionally and work on-prem to products that are on the cloud?
So I think that's a great question, Nick. I think when you look at what I call the new normal, which is life post COVID-19 or life during and then post COVID-19, is that increasingly there will be a lot of refocusing from our customers and also reprioritizing from our customers. So when you look at specific to your question around the internet connectivity, the impact on bandwidth, the impact on quality and availability, etc., I see the service providers stepping up. At the moment there's a lot of scrutiny and there's a lot of spotlight on them now to provide more quality and more availability from an internet access point of view, not just to traditional customers, but to every segment, including consumers, right? So I see a lot of investments from service providers, especially around the edge that you mentioned. The edge needs to be more intelligent. The edge needs to be able to drive more what I call network function virtualization. So you abstract the value of the network at the edge, and then you need to be able to ensure that the edge and the data center, where the application visibility and monitoring and the management becomes very imperative, you need to make investments in those two areas. And having said that, in a multi-cloud world, it's important that the pivot between the on-premises or on-premise, installations or infrastructure can manage workloads across on-premise as well as in the cloud. And we need to see that done very seamlessly and very, in a very non-transparent manner, or in a very transparent manner, right? But non-transparent to the user. So the user doesn't care where, he's consuming the applications, either it's in the cloud or it's an hybrid cloud or it's a public cloud or it's on-prem, right? So, and that's what service providers need to take and be cognizant of. Having said that, also the big customers and the customers that have applications that are being consumed, so for example, take a traditional bank, right? Those banks too need to also take a look at their edge and make sure that their edge, is also ready for what I've just described in terms of, software defined and flexible and the ability to, abstract network functions or abstract network features. And for that edge to work in an SD-WAN manner or software-defined WAN manner with multiple clouds, work with public clouds from, Google, AWS, etc. And by all means, there needs to be better access of the applications, banking applications for customer experience, banking applications for customer engagement, like CRMs, etc. So I believe there will be a doubling down, at the customer edge, at the service provider edge, at the service provider data center, if they're doing hosted services, as well as on the customer data center, to ensure better application performance and better application experience overall for the customer.
Thank you very much. I mean, an in-depth answer there, Kunle. I mean, clearly there are, challenges in each market. nonetheless, I think everybody's benefiting from lower traffic density in Lagos city centre, which I think is a plus. So you take the rough with the smooth. Trying to do more than 3 meetings a day is a challenge.
Physical traffic, but more, internet traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's a spike. So there's still traffic.
Exactly.
It's a different type of traffic profile now. Yeah.
From your own perspective and from your own, shall we say team, you have a really dynamic team in Lagos who I've met personally, and you run a pretty tight ship there. If you think about your business as well as businesses around there, the impact of productivity when somebody is in the office environment, and the trade-off you make to safety of employees and productivity at home. Have you seen people becoming more creative in the way that they are approaching customers, solving problems, or have you seen similar mindsets just being transferred over to home working? And how has that been experienced on your side?
I said earlier that we as a company have always encouraged, telecommuting or working from home, right? So we were more or less prepared, when we needed to drive business continuity by working from home. In my case, I tend to even work longer hours when I'm working from home, right? So I see myself doing 12-hour days, right? Just working and, you can get something. And I think that's the same for most of my colleagues in the office. So, the productivity, I haven't seen any productivity declines as a result of working from home. If at all, I think people have been more available because, again, it's easier to track them online than if they were sitting in your famous traffic in Lagos on the way to the office. So again, the productivity gains have been there, and I think there's no trade-off between safety and what we need to do. So safety first, which was what we focused on by making sure everybody observed the rules and protocols, as laid down by the government. And productivity has not been impacted as much because, again, like I said, we're used to this.
Kunle, my last question to you would most definitely be around, what are we doing with the community in Lagos and Nigeria, and maybe just a message of hope to our partners and businesses and disties out there to see, the road out. I think there's still a bit of work to do for us to all, change in the new normal, getting used to the new normal. So over to you if there's anything else you wanted to add.
So we've been quite active with the local community. So the Lagos State government, we've partnered with them to provide, WebEx licenses, access to WebEx, so that they can leverage, WebEx and web conferencing and video conferencing in their response, to the pandemic. And we've also deployed, based on their guidance, video collaboration units, to 5 locations, including the bigger hospitals that are government owned, as well as the isolation center where we've got the COVID-19 patients, that are being isolated and treated. So we've been able to achieve that. In addition to that, we've worked with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, our local Center for Disease Control, and also partner with them and donated video collaboration kits to their locations in Abuja and Lagos, and then another location in Oyo State. Again, as part of our support for the kind of productivity they will need as they fight this pandemic. So we've been able to do that from a community support point of view. We are actively looking at other possibilities to support the community, and specific to our partners as well as our customers across board. Specific to customers, we've given 90-day trial licenses for WebEx. We're giving similar amounts of days in terms of licenses for Duo, as well as Umbrella. So all our tools that are essential to getting a very good and safe work from home experience for our customers. We've provided to our customers, and it's still actually available, for consumption. We still have the trial licenses, and we'll review this as well as we go along. But those are some of the things we've done. We've also, in certain cases, provided credits and financial support to some of our distributors in this period to allow them to be able to continue to provide revenue generation support, to their wider customer base. So we've in some cases we've extended credit terms to some of our distributors just to allow for that process to go on, smoothly in spite of the disruptions caused by COVID. So again, we'll continue to review the different possibilities in terms of support.
And I'll leave you with the opportunity to ask me a question, which is normally towards the end of the interview. So yeah, do your best. Do your best.
Okay, I was going to ask a question about, where do you think you would end with your numbers, but I'll skip that.
That's the $1 million question, I think. The $1 million question. I think more importantly than that,
basically, I trust. Okay, so
I think there's a more important element to it. Sorry to interrupt you, and I think I think as much as we are business that is highly competitive, I think we've really showed face in this last period in terms of helping customers, and I think that's my focus at the moment. There's a lot of people out there who have just started out either in technology who need direction and need leadership. And I think Cisco and the partner community have been fantastic at providing that leadership and that thought leadership. Hence the reason why I'm doing these interviews as well, is because I think there's a need out there to talk about, really what's going on and not and ahhing and taking action, pulling the trigger on things that we've wanted to do for quite some time and that the public need and that businesses need. So as much as this has been the new normal, it's also been a really exciting time. And from a numbers perspective, I think
you don't need to answer the question. I was just that was just a joke. But it's a question I ask you during the normal times. So, but I hear you. I hear you 100%. It's important to continue to stay very close to the customers and to the community, and that's what we're doing. We're showing up on a daily basis. And we're very close to our customers and the community. We're helping our customers to consume, what they have from Cisco already from an install base point of view. We're helping to drive the adoption as well, and customers are beginning to even realize better value from their assets, in terms of the guidance we're providing. We're allowing them to be able to consume what they have already and staying very close to them. So I guess it's clear that customers will obviously remember the people that stood by them during the difficult times, and when the good times come, which is inevitable that it will come, and they can always be remembered for being solid when it counted or when it mattered. So that's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. That's probably the best way of saying it. Is that we stick through the bad times and the good times. Kunle, I have really enjoyed this time with you today. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to me, and I look forward to the day that I can get on a flight over to Lagos and come and enjoy some good poundo and some good Nigerian authentic food, and sit down and with the team and chat to our customers again face to face. Thanks very much, and I wish you and the family and friends health.
Thank you very much, Nick. All the best.
Thank you. Take care.